Hello and welcome back. Today's episode is about listing files, but also about identifying different types of files. So the ls command will list the current directory by default, and that is the Tux user's home directory. So if I change directory into templates subdirectory, and I performed an ls command on the tilde symbol, I would get the home directory because the tilde symbol is the symbol for the home directory. So let me change directory back into the home directory. Okay, and my next point was that the all option for the ls command will show the dot that symbolizes the current directory, then the dot that symbolizes the parent directory. Also, all of the hidden files that have a dot in front of them, and of course a regular ls command will not display those. And the almost all option will not list these two characters here. So let me just clear the screen, and that's something to know if you want to see the hidden files, because they are significant on your especially in your home directory. So I'm just going to clear the screen here, and I'm going to perform a long listing on the root directory, and that will show a lot of statistics, including the permission statistics and the owner, the user owner of the file, and then the group owner of the file, and the modification time, and the size of the files. And so I wanted to show you the block size option. Let me just clear the screen, and this will show the block sizes of your files in kilobytes. However, it rounds up. So to get a more accurate reading on the size of the file, I would use the human readable option, because it doesn't go by block size apparently. See here, the run directory is 1.1 kilobytes here, but then is 2 kilobytes here. So I don't know if you found that significant, but I found that interesting. I'm going to clear the screen again, and then I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to use the directory option to only display the directory, and that's important if I want to see the permissions strictly for the directory, because if I am not, I would only see the statistics for its subdirectories. Okay, I'm going to clear the screen, and then I'm going to create a symbolic link here, and I'm using the link command and then the S option for symbolic link, and then the file path of the VM Linus or kernel file in the system, and then I'm using the output of the uname option with the kernel release, the uname command with the kernel release option. And now I'm just going to use bash completion here, and as you can see, this is a file that refers to another file in the system. And then I'm going to use the make first in, first out command, and I'm going to create a named pipe, and that allows separate processes to communicate with each other. Okay, and then I'm going to create a directory with make directory. Oops. And so the standard input symbol will send basically nothing to file 1, and so that will create file 1. And now I'm using change permission mode bits. I believe that is what that stands for. And I'm going to add executable permissions to users, groups, and others to file 1. And this will make this file executable. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down so that you can see the symbols. And I'm going to use ls classify. Okay, so the pipe symbol stands for a named pipe, and now we have the @ symbol for the symbolic link, and we have a lot of forward slashes for our directories. We have one executable file, and then we don't have a socket file or a door file because those are a bit exotic. But if I was to up arrow, use the L option, so there's a lot more information. However, the L option, the long listing option, will show me the path of my symbolic links. So I thought that was significant. And I'm just going to clear the screen. I just wanted to segue into identifying character and block device drivers. So in Linux, everything is a file, and we have used the tty command, and that will print the file name of the terminal. So that is our sudo terminal file. And now we are going to echo the output of that command using the $sign and parentheses. So exactly the same thing as we had before, but let us use the ls command on this, and we can see it's a character device, and the terminals use the character device file to accept character input and display characters. So let's move on to the block device. And that a block device is a device on a Linux machine that stores data. So if I was to do an ls command on the path of a block device, you can see it's a block device and its permissions here. And for its partitions. Okay, I'm just going to resume. It labs about listing files. I'm going to clear the screen, and I could group the directories first. And here I'm using the no group option to avoid printing the or listing the group permissions to the files, or the group ownership of the files. Actually, I have used the I option in the past to show the inode numbers of the files, and the inode numbers identify the files uniquely. I'm going to clear the screen, and the reverse option will list in the reverse of alphabetical order and the recursive option will go through the entire directory and then display all of the contents. So directories and the files they contain. That one is a bit of a fail because I don't have root permissions. Let me get root permissions actually. Okay, and okay, so this is good, but it's not very pretty. Let me show you what that might look like if you were excuse me, using a tree. And you can see the tree-like format. So either command will unpack the directories to see, so that you can see, it will unpack the parent directories so you can see the subdirectories, and then you can see the files contained within. And that is very powerful if you are looking for specific files quickly. Let's try this on a smaller scale, and just going to list this directory that has two subdirectories, and then I'm going to use the recursive option here, and you can see the directories and then the subdirectories. And let me up arrow and then use tree. And it looks prettier, but either one will work. I'm just going to clear the screen and then move on. If you want to sort by file size, largest first, you would use this option, the capital S option. And let me clear the screen and let me use a plain ls. And so these, so let me, sorry. Stat will display file or file system status. So stat, let's just say desktop. So what time is listed here? 13:21, and so that is the modification time. Okay, so by default, -L will display the modification time. So now the T option will sort by modification time, newest first. Let me just clear the screen. So there's ls, and then human readable, and then sort by modification time. So newest first. That might be useful if you want to see what was created most recently on your system. Newest first would be an advantage. Let me clear the screen and let me show you what the U option does. So LSHTU will, okay, long listing, human readable, and then sort by modification time, newest first, but with the U option, it will sort by access time, by last access time. So press that, and let me use the stat on this directory again, and where's desktop? Let's run right here. 11:33. So that was the last access time. So now it's showing the last access times of the files, and it's also showing newest first. So let me contrast that. And so now it's just showing the access times. So that's something to remember. The stat command is a very important command. I'm going to clear the screen. And now let's mess around a little bit with arrays and the power of arrays. Now, touch is a command that changes file timestamps, but it can also create files. So here I'm creating file 01, 02, and 03 in sequence. So this is an array that is defined by the curly braces. So they have been created. Now, if I want to create a range or a sequence of values, then I can put 2 dots between these two numerals. And so here I'm creating file 04 through file 10. Okay, so 2 dots stand for a sequence or a range of values. So I'm creating, just clearing up for the next lab. So I'm going to create file.txt, and I'm using a wildcard character that stands for 0 or more characters. And so I'm looking for anything that is a .txt file. And so the question mark character will stand for exactly 1 character. So I'm going to create this file, and now I'm telling the machine that I want to look for a file that has 3 digits as its last 3 characters. So here I'm going to try to get inventive here. So I want to create a file, a series of files, and I want them to start with 0, and then I want the next 2 digits to be from 0 to 9. So I want to create file, I think 000, and then 001, and then all the way until 099. Let me just list those. So again, so yes, all right, so 000, and then at the very, very end we have 099. So we can have 2 or more sequences as defined by arrays. I'm just going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do an ls command, and I'm looking for either 5 or 6, and then I'm looking for another digit. So you have 5 or 6 for the second digit. So I'm sorry, I'm looking for 0, then either 5 or 6, and then just another digit. So 0, either 5 or 6, and then whatever else. And this one will also use the OR principle here. that I'm looking for a file that starts with 0, and then the second digit could be 0, 4, or 8, and then the third digit could be 4, 5, or 6. See, there we have it. So these are also good principles to remember. And I'm just going to let the credits roll here. I use a lot of references. And the next episode will be about identifying the component of the Linux distribution that a file belongs to. So I hope to see you there, and all these references will be linked in the description. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you.